Hey guys, Dave from Days Auxiliary Shopworks here, and on this episode we're going to do a little TLC on this 1959 Dodge Custom Royal Lancer. So this car came to me last November, and it's been pretty much sitting in my yard. We had winter, obviously, and springtime working on Danny's truck, and we're at a point on Danny's truck now where I can spend a little time on this car, and it just needs a little TLC. So it hasn't been on the road since 2010, so 15 years of sitting. And take a look at this spark plug here. Look how black and carboned up, and it's actually wet as well. These plugs are not firing very good. The engine's over fueling from the look of it, and it doesn't allow for it to run really good. So first step is gonna be change out these spark plugs and the spark plug wires. In a previous video I'd cleaned the points and checked the gap, and so these spark plugs are the next step. The cap and rotor look fine, nothing wrong with them, but the wires are old, and people forget as a car sits, the spark plug wires still age out. They age from like engine bay temperatures and wear and tear, as well as just from time. And here they are. These are Champions, and a lot of people don't like Champion, but in these old rigs they are what you want to use on these old Dodges. They're designed to work with the electrical system for the secondary ignition. So I gapped the spark plugs. The spec is 35 thou, and after gapping them, you just pull the old ones out, put the new ones in. You don't have to over torque them, but you do have to make them tight. These have a sealing washer, so I like to take them, put them to where they stop, and then give them about 1/8 of a turn to 1/4 turn. Nothing crazy. Then we get the fun of putting these spark plug wires on. Now these are not cut to fit, which is what I like to usually use, but we are doing this on a bit of a budget. So keeping that in mind, I'm using a set of spark plug wire loom separators that I had sitting in the garage, and I was never going to use them, so they fit perfectly with these spark plug wires. I like to run the wires nicely. Now you can see there I've got half blue and half black wires. The black ones are the new wires, and the blue ones are the old wires. We got the passenger side smartened up pretty good, and once I get these wire loom separators on, it's on to the driver's side. Nothing too fancy. A good simple tune-up will cure a lot of ailments that a vehicle has. So when you're doing a tune-up and it comes to spark plug wires, you can do it one of, say, 2 or 3 ways. Like, you can be familiar with the engine, the firing order, the location of the spark plug wires on the distributor cap, just from familiarity, and you can just haul them all off. Like on this side, I made sure I knew where number 1 was, and then I just pulled the rest of the spark plug wires off. Now on the other side, since that is cylinders 2, 4, 6, and 8, I pulled off the spark plug wires one at a time, and I matched them up with the length of the new spark plug wires. That only got me so far though. Once I got the spark plugs done on the driver's side of the engine, I found that the pre-made spark plug wires, there was a compromise in length. I mean, you need some pretty long wires for this engine, and a couple of them were just a little bit short versus too long, so for others, so I had to play around with spark plug wire location. Like, I actually ended up pulling all the spark plug wires off on the passenger side and redoing everything again just to get them all to fit properly, and that wasn't ideal, but made everything work, and the end result was good. Alright, so here we are now. All the spark plug wires are done, spark plugs are done, and I am going to attempt to start the engine. I gave it a couple of pumps of fuel in the carburetor, accelerator pump works, and cranking, and it wouldn't go. So you can see I got a little can of starting fluid there. I kind of realized the cylinders were probably still wet because, as I'd said, this thing was overfueling at idle. Way too rich. So the cylinders were still damp, probably flooded my spark plugs really quickly. And so the starting fluid did the trick. She's just a purring now. Right now I'm actually just looking for the idle mixture screws because I've never touched this carburetor style before, well, this one in particular, and I found them down low front under the bowl, under the fuel bowl. And because I just noticed there was so much kind of blue-black smoke coming out the tailpipes, and that's a sure sign that it is just running way too rich. And it was just fat, rich, way too overfueling. So I did a little bit of tweaking, give it a rev, still smoky. Give it another rev and check it. And yeah, you could see it, you just see clouds of dark blue, black smoke coming out. So time to get a little more serious. I was trying to do that idle mixture adjustments with just my little screwdriver, and it was tight fit in there. This guy's kind of a tight fit, but at least I've got some length to the screwdriver and I can control it better. Right now, I've got the driver's side idle mixture screw turned all the way in, blocking off all the fuel, and it's still running, just singing away. So I found these idle mixture screws were turned way out. Way too much fuel delivery, like more than I even thought was a thing. I thought I was going to go in, do a little, like a quarter turn tweak maybe, and be good, but I had to put the two of them all the way in, back them out. Like they were out 4 turns, and that's huge. So I've got them right now about 3/4 of a turn to almost a full turn out, and I kind of balanced it out from there, and boy, what a difference. What a difference in starting, what a difference in idle operation, warm up as well. You don't gotta baby it, it just warms up on its own like it's supposed to. I'm really happy with it. And it's just a little bit of basics. You listen to what the engine is telling you, start turning them in, and if it starts to kind of drop idle and start burbling and stumbling, then you know you're starting to cut the fuel off to the point of no good. So you just incrementally increase, and you want to do it balanced side for side. That's about the best I can tell you, is what you do to one side, you need to do to the other side, and you will feather it out between the two to the point where you've got the mixture screws turned in, like turn the fuel off as much as you can to where it's just idling nice and crisp and happy, and you kind of get the highest idle that you can out of it as well. You just want it smooth, and that sounds good. And magically, all my fuel smoke went away. This thing will fire up and run real good now, and it's going to keep that tune like I did running crisp for a long time. see, it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't just start back up again for me. I always had to give it a little extra fuel, or a little extra throttle. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with how this thing turned out. The next thing I got to do, of course, is some differential work, but at least right now it starts, it runs, it drives, it moves under its own power, and it's not trying to overfuel itself to death. There you have it, guys. I'm Dave from Dave's Lawyer Shop Works, and I really thank you for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the tune-up, and I appreciate taking you guys along for the ride. We'll see you on the next one.